Hey guys, it's Ashley. So today I'm going to talk to y'all, I guess, about a story time. I used to do these a lot, but haven't really done them in a while. But I guess I'm going to go ahead and talk to y'all about the time that I was drugged, I guess, and date raped. Anyways, I'm not going to mention her name for privacy reasons, but she was a friend of mine through high school, middle school, so I trusted her. Anyways, let's get right on into the story. So, I was in ninth grade. No. Eighth grade, ninth grade. Oh, let's just say ninth grade. I had a friend, she would sometimes come over and sleep over. When my brother, he was at a friend's house. Of course, my mom and dad were there. My mom, she worked at Dairy Queen. My mom, she was home from work, everything, Went to go pick up my friend, me and her, of course, she was with me in my parents' room, because I had to move my exercises to my parents' room. She went with me in there, and of course, I exercised, and she controlled the music for me, After that, during that time, she said, "Hey, can I take pictures of you nude for this guy?" I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "He wants to hook up with you." I'm like, I don't know. I don't really feel comfortable hooking up with a guy I don't really know. She's like, "It'll be fine. I just want him to think that I am you." I'm like, "No." So, that was that. I finished exercising and I got in the shower. Well, while I was in the shower, she came in there and she took photos of me. I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?" She's like, "It's cool, it's fine, She's like, "They're just pictures, Ashley, chill." I'm like, "Okay, it's whatever. It's not weird at all, but okay." So then the dude started texting her saying that he thought I was, hot, sexy, whatever. He loved my body, all that, all that weird stuff that guys say. um, anyways, it was around 1, 2 o'clock. My dad went to bed. My mom was already asleep. She woke me up and she's like, "Hey, come with me right down the road. Walk with me down the road. I want to go meet this guy." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, it's a party. Everyone's going to be there. It's a fun little high school party." I was like, "No, I don't feel comfortable, because I didn't really like the whole party life. That wasn't me. I liked going to work, coming home, exercising, or going to football games or stuff like that. That was me. I prefer staying home reading or going to work." Anyways, I was like, "No, I'm nervous. I want to go." She said, "It's going to be fine. It's going to be a barbecue, and just a little bit of drinking, having some fun, some karaoke." And I was like, "Barbecue? Okay, because I was a barbecue bitch. I like barbecue." Anyway, I said yes. That was my first mistake, but I trusted her, She was one of my best friends, She was there for me through a lot of hard things. So I walk with her down the road. Of course, it's like December, it's cold, it's Texas, so it's like in the 30s. Anyways, I walk with her down the road, right from our house. There's a little church, it was a Pentecostal church, I think. Anyways, we were staying there, and all of a sudden this white car pulls up really fast. And next thing I know, there's this tall, colored man, coming up to me. He's really skinny, and he, like, pulls me in the car real fast. I'm like, "What the fuck?" And Maggie, the girl that I was friends with, started laughing, and she was like, "It's fine, it's gonna be fine." Well, I was like, "Okay, this is weird." I was like, "Can I just go home?" She's like, "No." And, like, the guy, like, started holding on to my body real tight, and he was like, "Things I'm gonna do to you later." I'm like, "What do you mean?" But anyways, they took us to, I guess, a location about 10 miles away, 15 miles away. It was a house kind of in the middle of, like, a wooded area, and I didn't see no other vehicles there. I got really nervous about it, and I was like, "What's going on?" Maggie, fuck, I keep on saying her name. Margie, whatever. I'm gonna say Margie. Maggie's not her real name. Margie was like, "It's fine," And I was like, okay, there's no one else here. So they take me and I see this big colored dude, on top of the two colored dudes that were driving. The guy that grabbed me was sitting on the couch. He was like 200 or 300 pounds. He was sitting on the couch. And he was like, hey, doll, it's okay. Everyone's going to be here soon. He was like, would you like a glass of water? I know they're like, really rude. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I just want to call my dad and tell him to come pick me up, even though I was scared I was going to get in trouble. And he's like, no, honey, it's okay. Here's a bottle of water. And I trusted the bottle of water, but, it, snapped and everything after I opened it, so I thought it was okay. Well, next thing I know, my head started feeling kind of heavy right here, and I started feeling really drowsy. And he was like, are you okay? And he was like, just come lay down on the couch for a little bit, you'll be fine, and I was like, oh no, and then all of a sudden, I couldn't really hear anything, it went kind of black. And I remember waking up and I was like in this weird room that was like lit with all red lights, when I was tied down to something, I don't know what, I tried to move, I couldn't move, I felt really heavy. I see all these naked, colored guys around me, and I see her standing there, she's clothed and everything, she's watching, and she's holding a camera, and I just get out of it again. Well, I wake up and I'm sitting back on the couch, all my clothes are on, everything, but I'm cramping really bad down there, and I look down, there's blood. I'm like, what the heck, and she's like, oh, you just fell asleep. I was like, what, I went along with it because I was scared. I was like, oh, okay, I must have just fell asleep, Well, after that, they're like, all right, see y'all guys later. She was like, I'll go ahead and take her home. Could you just drop us back off? So the guys that, originally drove us got us back in the car, and they drove us back home. Well, I was scared to death. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and take a shower. She was like, okay, cool. She didn't give a fuck. She's like, all right, I'll just, hang out in your room so you're done. So I took off my clothes, and there was legit so much blood. I was so sore down there, and in my rectal area. I was sore in both areas, and I was like, what the hell, and I just got in the shower, and I remember just, sitting down and crying, because I knew what happened, but I didn't want to tell anyone, because I was scared, I was like, well, I'm going to get in trouble for going out, even though I snuck out sometimes and could meet boys I trusted. Well, next morning comes, of course, I go to sleep, and I'm still hurting. The next morning comes, and I'm so sore, I'm like, what the hell, and, her mother came and picked her up, and I wanted to tell my mom and dad so bad, but I didn't. Of course, in school it was the weekend, so Monday goes around, I see her in school, and she didn't want to talk to me, and I finally went up to her and I was like, hey, I was really sore, did anything happen? She was like, no, you just fell asleep. Well, I knew something happened. Well, a few weeks down the road, me and her were sitting in the girls' locker room, and all of a sudden, she showed me some pictures on her camera of this dude she was, talking to, and his dick, all that, how girls are. And I see this video of a red room. I'm like, what is that? Show me. And she's like, no, it's personal. I'm like, show me. And I see a girl, laying back like that, that's naked, and look kind of like me, but I didn't really know. I'm like, why? She's like, it's just, something I'm saving. I'm like, okay, Well, that same day, of course, I worked, so I went to work, and the big color guy went in, and he talked to me. He was like, hey, I feel really bad, but something happened between us. She told us to drug you, and she told me to pay her to let us do things to you. And I'm like, are you serious? He was like, I'm so sorry, and he gave me $300. He's like, here. I'm like, I don't want your fucking money. I told my boss, I'm like, hey, I'm going to take the trash out real quick. And he's like, okay, just hurry up. Well, I went outside, and I was like, I don't want your money. I want you to leave me the fuck alone and tell me what happened. When he told me everything that happened and what they did. I'm not going to go into details, but they basically raped me. All 8 of them raped me. And she took money from them. He said they paid her almost $1,000 or $2,000, something like that. And I was like, well, what the hell? I got really upset. I wanted to cry, but I was like, you know what? I don't know what to do. He was like, don't tell anyone. I'm like, what the fuck, And he was like, she's my girlfriend. His name was Toby or something like that. And he was like, she's my girlfriend, you know, and she likes this type of stuff. You know, she does this for us a lot. You know, she gets us girls to sleep with us, but most of them were willing and you weren't willing. I was like, well, what the fuck, you know? And anyways, you know, point being, I went back into work. You know, I was just sitting there. I didn't have a working phone at the time. You know, and I was just, you know, standing there and I was just in shock, you know, from what happened. You know, and I was like, wow, you know, I trusted this girl. And she was supposed to be my best friend and she did this to me, you know, like, what's going on? You know, and I don't know. But I'm not going to go into more details about that story. You know, I've touched on it a few times with people that I know, but I have never really told my parents about that. But story is, you know, just be careful with who you hang out with and who you talk to. You know, don't ever trust someone fully. You know, always keep your guard up. Anyways, yeah, that's story time for today. I hope you guys have a good one and be safe.